Let's go down to Jerome's Raw Real Garage Rant, and it's the 4th of July, American Independence Day. So props to my Yankee Doodle dandies. Nailed it. To the British, sorry for your loss. It happens, man. Right. But Minnesota Vikings this offseason declared independence from quarterback Kirk Cousins. And it really is a turning of the page in terms of the Vikings franchise. And we've talked about how this was the most transformative offseason in team history because you have a changing of the guard at the quarterback position. You have a changing at the guard at the guy who gets the quarterback, the talisman on the edge, Danielle Hunter. So I have no animus with Danielle Hunter. It sort of is what it is. He got to go home, and the Vikings got younger at the position, and frankly, better schematic fits with Grenard and Van Ginkel and Diamond Dallas Turner, etc. But the whole Kirk Cousins thing is interesting, right? Because there are some parallels where the old world of Kirk Cousins, massively overpaid. I need a little bit more money. I'm going to tax you T. I got to pay for the 7 years war. Please. No, get out. GTFO, right? You're someone else's problem, right? And with Kurt, like I never had a problem with Kurt as a person. To a degree, I felt like he leaned into like the whole dad mode, oh gee shucks, oh gee willikers thing a little bit too much. Like I feel like Kurt was way more self-aware than people gave him credit for, right? But it was always about the money. And at a certain point you thought that, okay, maybe it wasn't, but then, it always was. And Kurt's agent definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a financial freaking gangster, but I'm glad that the Vikings moved on, and even though they had to take it on the chin, $28 million plus in dead cap this year because of the void years with Kurt and Daniil and Marcus Davenport, it is what it is, and the Vikings have completely turned the page. And I have to give a lot of credit to Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, general manager, head coach Kevin O'Connell. Even though Kevin O'Connell just strictly on the field wouldn't have mind running it back with Kurt. Like they knew they had to rip the Band-Aid off at some point, and with this quarterback class and the way the Vikings were set up, then always funny is like you have like a nice house in the suburb, and then everyone's like, "Oh, is that gunshots or fireworks?" Obviously, fireworks. It's not even hunting season, anyways. But Kwesi just like, nah. I mean, the Vikings could have paid Kurt, the 4 years, $180 million that the Falcons did with $100 million guaranteed, basically tying him up for the next 2 years. And they could have done all that and then, I don't know, drafted Spencer Rattler in the middle rounds. But they didn't do that full on, rip off the Band-Aid, and it was time to move on. It was time to declare independence, the Battle of Bunker Hill. We're just basically sending Kirk Cousins on his way. Be gone. We're starting something new, and it's not going to be with you. That's all that, right? So, man, I guess who would be who? Like JJ McCarthy would be Thomas Jefferson, even though he didn't really write the thing. So I guess Kwesi would be Jefferson, ironically. No, Jefferson should be Jefferson. Oh, that's stupid. But no, JJ McCarthy, our George Washington, taking up the mantle. Going to be the first presidente of things that are going to be going on here. It's going to be good, man. But I'm excited to see what the future is going to bring because even though, yes, I have been a supporter of Kirk Cousins when he was here because I feel like that's what you do. Like, even if you didn't vote to sign a guy like Kirk Cousins, like, he's your guy. And hopefully he does well. And hopefully, he wins your team a dozen Drombardis in the next 10 years. He didn't do that. Hey, he won a playoff game. Ooh, good times, man. But now taking a step back, it's just like, you maybe could have got it done with Kurt, but everything would have had to be perfect around him. Now, that could apply to JJ McCarthy at the start, sure, but the ceiling is there. The mind meld with Kevin O'Connell is certainly there as well. And at the end of the day, as Kurt was aging, going to be 36 in August, as well as coming off that Achilles, he just wasn't worth the money. And I was wondering, like, what would happen if Kurt had been fully healthy last year? Do the Vikings run it back? I think they probably would have. As weird as it sounds. So, in a way, even though Kurt's Achilles disrupted the 2023 season, frankly, I think the Vikings give the Lions a run for their money in the division if Kurt didn't get hurt. But in a way, like Kurt popping that Achilles, like set the Vikings up for the future and completely altered the course of events. So maybe the Vikings don't declare independence from Kurt if his Achilles was intact, and they're just hoping and sitting, waiting, wishing that something's going to happen in the next couple of years. But it's okay. He's the Falcons' problem now. The future is bright. I think the mind meld of McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell is going to be great. I think that Sam Darnold is set up for success this year, and the Vikings. The Vikings are great because there's lowered expectations. Even me sipping on the scissor of the Vikings purple drink, like, hey, the Vikings could go 7-10. The Vikings could go 5-12. The Vikings could go 12-5. I mean, there's a lot of iterations here. All I want to see is every single week the Vikings punching other teams in the face, growing and showing, and there's talent all over the place, man. Just having that meld and gel together. The defense is going to be top half the league. The offense has a chance to be top 10. Special teams is going to be legit. So, I'm excited, man. Either way, we're going to be good to go. But that's it. Raw rant in the garage. Kirk Cousins. Skull, no production value.